Rhythm.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Yes, much love to everybody in the house. Welcome into another Cowboys chat here in MCF. And, not much going on, but enough to discuss here with us. So as we get this thing kicked off, baby, let's, get the Chargers in sight here, trying to forget about that Niner game. And, hey, we even got a new Cowboy on the team today. We're going to talk about that and more here on MCF, My Cowboys Family. But first, let's open it up to those that make the world go around here, My Cowboys Family.
Thank you very much to the sponsor of the week, back-to-back representation by the man, MyCowboysFamily.
Oh, yeah.
A big mahalo to him. He's not just the sponsor of the week 2 weeks in a row, but he's also bossing that stream around with 94 points.
Much love to Mark. Back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Appreciate him. He's also currently trying to go for that three-peat. As you can see right above, he's in first place on that overall sponsor of the week leaderboard. So much love to him. A lot of other fantastic people on that board above us. We also got the guy that you know why he's here, SnugX. Yes, much love to him. He is the Cash App King for 9 straight weeks. That's over 2 months. And will he add another week to that streak? I don't know. But currently, right now, with just and by the way, it was another little trickle of a drop by Jason Renfro, who's in first place on the Cash App board, and he dropped that $1.48 holler last night, right after the stream ended, with a Go Cowboys.
Woo.
So much love, Jason Renfro. He is the current leader right now on that Cash App King. So we'll see what happens with that. Will Mr. SnugX go for 10 double digits? I don't know. We'll see. Jason Renfro has the 20 weeks in a row record. So Jason's trying to sneak in there. Maybe make SnugX get his streak busted. I don't know. We'll see what happens. By the way, you see the gifting leaders this week. There is currently nobody on the board for the gifting championship. One of the best ways to help the channel out here and helping the family members in the chat. But we do have last week's champion, the man staying skeptical fan. Much love to him.
Shout out to you, Skeptical.
Yes.
Much love. Appreciate you, of course.
Yes, much love. I think he had 6 was the gifting winner last week. So much love once again to him and everybody else who dropped the love the last couple of nights. Like Mr. Marco Seppian, like I said, on the overall board, Calvin Richard, Jason Renfro, lost in translation. Go Cowboys. We got a rebound this week after that Niner loss. But hey, you guys can drop super chats to help the channel out. You got the gifting memberships, the actual memberships itself, thanks button. But there's 4 other ways under the Cash App King side of things. You can kind of try to, get some recognition through there and help out the channel at the same time.
Of course, you have the Cash App Money Sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
That's right. And star level members, over everything level members, you guys are in this month's raffle, which is going to be at around what? Halftime? End of the game this week against the Chargers, or probably halftime. It won't be. It's going to be a late night on Monday night, so probably be a halftime of this game. We will do the star level membership raffle for the month of October. And speaking of that side of things, maybe the top shelf level memberships. Why don't you shout out those that rock that star level and over everything level board?
Again, huge shout out to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Dwayne Broussard, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, and the Lunatic.
Much love to all you guys. By the way, yeah, those are the family members going to be right now. Hey, people can jump on. Of course, you want to jump in the star level, you can get in that raffle this weekend. So actually this Monday night. Let's be honest about it. So again, appreciate everybody there, and baby, let's do them nightly shout outs. Who's in the house tonight with my Cowboys family?
Oh, we have Richo Scotty, what's up? Justin D in the place to be. Cactus G, hello and hi. Of course, a big mahalo to the man Mark Hovsepian.
Yes.
As soon as I'm done with the shout outs, if your drop hasn't hit yet, I will be coming back to it here. We have Asmodeus, Double R, Cactus G, let me see, Scorpio, Mari Roberts, much love. Clark Moonfucking Kent. Let me see, Mari Roberts, Mike Aldana. Just trying to go back, make sure I didn't do anything. Monroe Gadet. Let me see, Mackenzie 2 times.
Two times.
Yeah, there we go. So now I can go ahead and officially, Rolando Rodriguez, hello and hi, much love. So let me go ahead and read Marco Sepian's $5 holler, kicking things off here on the official side of things.
When that drops, he'll have 99 points with that 5 on it.
Thank you, Mark.
Big shout out to Mark Hovsepian.
We need to see if Lance is any good. Maybe benching Dak will make him request a trade. Sorry, I'm not sold on Dak. His salary can be better spent elsewhere.
Again, I agree with Mark on almost everything, but remember the Joneses, Mark. They don't really spend money when they have money. They just don't do it. They like to get their own guys, sign those guys to big contracts, and then go cheap on others, on free agents. And what that means is the Cowboys will not use that money and spread it out for some real talent. They'll spread it out to get some bottom basement kind of risk guys and pay a couple of their guys. That's what they'll do with that. Much love, Mark, with that $5 holler. Like I said, 99 points for him as we're just getting started up here, warmed up tonight. Appreciate you, Mark. Not much news tonight, so if you guys have questions or thoughts or comments, keep them coming like Mark just did, and we will hit them up every time it's dropped. But, I agree that we can, at this point, Dak's 8th year. Again, we know it's not all his fault. If you know it's not all his fault, but he is part of the problem. It's part of him in this scheme. All these things it's not working out. So what I'm saying is that if the Cowboys wanted to utilize that money somehow under the way, there's other ways of getting around this thing, but they are going to get hit for $61 million in the cap next year on Dak, unless you restructure that and move that money forward, which, Dak will be cool with that because he don't care about moving it forward. There's ways of getting out of his contract, I think. But again, as we all know, it's a no trade clause. Unless he wants to be traded, he won't get traded. So benching him, I guess you can do that, but you would never dare do that now. Because if we're out of the playoffs, you do that. You don't do that now, Mark. So yeah, Trey Lance, I want to see him but he's still the third quarterback. He's not better than Cooper Rush yet. So Trey Lance ain't going up anywhere right now, and Dak ain't going anywhere right now. I say right now, as in this season. We could talk about what happens in the offseason. I think it's a good time to start talking about those kind of things. Double R in the place to be with that $2 J. Lou holler. What do you have to say?
I can't just let Mark be the only one representing tonight. He's saying, go Cowboys and salute Cowboy Nation.
Appreciate you. The Cowboy family is also in the house. Can't do this without you guys. Double R. Rocking the spot here, repping that star over everything.
Ooh. So, and just to follow it up, because I know it's going to hit any second now, Marco Sepian also had a $2 holler. He said, correct. And how has that helped us in the past 25 years?
Not spending with that money we have, not helped at all. That's the problem. Dak Prescott, no Dak Prescott. You know what the money is for the Cowboys? To roll the dice on their own players that they drafted. That's Mark. That's you have to hope they hit on the guys they signed and drafted. And they spent the money on there because they're not going to pay a big money guy off another team. The Cowboys rarely do that. And again, unless they have a whole change of mindset all of a sudden, that's probably the way it's going to continue going with or without Dak Prescott here, right? So they threw rolled the dice on a top 10 quarterback when he's in definitely a top 10 quarterback when he's in the best of circumstances and in the best schemes. But you know what? Most quarterbacks in those situations suck a lot worse than Dak. So $40 million is what you get. For Dak Prescott is what you get for a $40 million quarterback in this day and age, and you want to go $20 million, you're getting Garoppolo. All right, you're getting a guy like I don't know, the backup to the Browns. Like that's who you're getting. Mark with a $2 holler there, and there it is. Yes, there's that comment he just made. So appreciate you, Mr. Mark Hovsepian, and I hope I answered the questions from everybody in the house. Appreciate all the comments, the super chats like this, where it highlights your comment. We can follow it with you and discuss it. That's what we do here. So let's get rolling in NFL news. I think, right? I don't know if there's any other shout outs or not, but I'll keep it rolling here as you guys.
Let's see, Mari Roberts, what's up? And we're not really sure what Jerry's plan is, but as of now,
we got an idea yesterday. I'm just
saying, still fully on Team Dak, so we'll have to see what the future holds more beyond that.
No, we spoke to Jerry yesterday.
I know we did speak to Jerry. Jerry did give us quite a bit of inside information.
Interesting inside information, for sure.
So, thank you again, Jerry, for taking time to join us here and share your thoughts so that we can better understand our front office and our team.
Yes. Much love to Jerry. But yeah, you were saying that, basically, what's going to be the next step going forward here? Off of some of the comments that you were reading in the chat. So.
Exactly. Sorry, I honestly I don't remember what my point was now, just because obviously I got a little sidetracked there reading the thing here. Let me see. Mike Aldana said we're kind of stuck with Dak's contract to recut or extend him.
Again, or trade him.
It still to a certain extent. So I think that at least from the Jerry Steven mindset, they're gonna squeeze that juice. Squeeze it for all the juice. So if we're still maybe more contractually obligated for Dak for another year or two, then he'll probably still be here for at least another year or two. So, anyway, before I move on to the next thing, Clark fucking Kent, he just dropped a $10 holler.
He jumps right up on the board there in a tie for second place with Lost in Translation. What did Clark Kent have to say?
He said, guys, why didn't Micah line up on that right tackle side?
It
baffles me how many times I see Micah on Trent Williams. Even Kearse got a sack on the right side. Come on, Quinn. Even I saw the Niners' weakness.
Hey, Clark, you are talking to the guy, me, right here, who literally has that on tap for tonight.
He basically said what you said, but with a lot more F words sprinkled in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Making a joke, but yeah, no, I know that's
one of my issues.
Been one of your things that you've been pointing out and kind of, solidifying, because obviously our initial thoughts after the game were like, hey, this is what we think, but then since then it feels more proven
accurate,
you could say.
Listen, only thing I was going to touch on this later tonight. I will touch on it a quick minute, but Clark motherfucking Kent, I agree. It's not just the fact that there was a mismatch for Micah Parsons on the right tackle, and he did I think he did I should check it now. I think 2/3 of his rushes came from the right tackle side. The left tackle side. The right tackle side, he did not do much from that. He did not rush many times from there. And it's not just the competition of Trent Williams, who's one of the best in the NFL, and trying to work on their weaknesses with Micah. The problem, I think, by keeping him on the one side all the time is that they can target where he's at and then run at him. The scheme is easy. I know they can flip it if they needed to, but if he's over center, over guard, over tackle, outside tackle, as an edge, but he's doing this and moving all over the place throughout the game, that makes it harder for them they have to dictate their offense to Micah. And Dan Quinn made it really easy for them to dictate their offense right through Micah Parsons. And that was, I think, the biggest issue in my mind when it came to the way of the usage by Dan Quinn of Micah Parsons. And it just sucks because I think the Cowboys could have done a lot better there. Utilizing our best player on defense, So, I don't know. I don't know if anybody disagrees or agrees with this, but again, Trent Williams, to me, and I guess I'll go through it now, gets a lot of credit for this. he erased Micah Parsons in a way, right? The way that like Zach Martin erases Aaron Donald.
I mean, he
makes him
again,
disappear, but he
made
Micah disappear.
I was just about to say, you can't take away, like, even if we were sucking, you can't take away his contribution to that and how well he kind of handled us.
So Trent Williams, all the credit to him. He's one of the best left tackles in the NFL. Still is. And Micah got handled by him. That's a win for him. But why was 66% of his pass rushes coming from our right side, which is their left side, which is Trent Williams? Why not move him around more? But the other, I guess what? The other 33% of the time, he was used all over the other parts of the line. You should be doing 60% of the time moving him around. And 66% of that moving around. 33% of the time, you keep him on one side. That's the way it should be. I don't know what Dan Quinn was thinking, but it failed. He failed on that one, in my humble opinion. I think most of us all are on the same page on that. And on that discussion part. But yes, much love. Clark Kent, appreciate you. And Mark Hovsepian, the 89 points of Hendershot on that stream boss for now. So let's get into the NFL side of things, I guess, right? Real quick, one quick news bit.
Well, all that Cowboy adjacent stuff, right?
We'll hit it up as soon as they drop it. We will touch on their topics. But NFL player, former NFL player, Sergio Brown. You remember his story? I don't know if you remember him. A month ago or so, his mother was found dead in a creek behind their house. And he was the guy in question about killing his mother.
Oh.
Yeah, so he today was reportedly taken into custody by the authorities in connection with her death. He had traveled and got to Mexico. And he was trying to come over again, I don't know if he got deported back to the United States. He got arrested at the border. So back to the United States. So he is in obvious big trouble. And man, that's a crazy situation. We'll be following that, I'm sure, when it pops up here and there. Now, that's it. NFL news. Quick and simple, guys. Real easy. Let's talk about the Cowboys and who the new player we got today is. So, remember, guys, to hit the like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We roll on here on MCF. So, as we look at our newest player, a linebacker, guys, to our practice squad. So, again, as we know, the LV situation, injured, right? Out for at least, injured reserve, going to be out for at least 4 games. We know it could be a total of 6 weeks, right? Gone, missing 5 games. So LVE, middle linebacker-wise, off-ball linebacker. I really don't. Damone Clark, I said to you guys, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Malik Jefferson's practice squad. All right, he's off-ball linebacker, but you want practice squad off-ball line? There's a reason he's on our practice squad. And then you got guys like Marquise Bell, who definitely cannot do the off-ball linebacker coming from the safety hybrid spot. So who can replace LVE? I don't know. And I'm sure Damone Clark will get some opportunities, and Malik Jefferson as well. But now we have another guy in the house, a linebacker we signed to the practice squad, but he might be on the 53 sooner than we think. Depends how he does. He's been a free agent for a while, and baby, do you remember we spoke about this guy way back in the offseason as an option for depth? I remember at the end of right before we got training camp, I said, if you want to shore up running back, or there was like 2 or 3 positions we want to touch up on maybe, and linebacker was one of them, and this was one of the guys I had spoke on.
Remember, at that time, we still weren't 100% sure about our current linebacker situation.
How we're going to work on that.
Haven't seen them or everything all together. So similar to our O-line feelings, as in, damn, we could use some depth here. So quality depth and all that.
Yeah, so the thing is, there was no real depth out there. We talked about Hitchens and what's his other one? The other guy we had here was a Smith. I forgot. He got in trouble with a gun in a concert. Shit, I forgot his name now. Damian Wilson.
Oh, there you go.
And you had Hitchens. These guys are the names that.
Man, I forgot about Damian Wilson. There's a name you haven't heard in a while.
These are the guys that are like the only guys rotating out there. And the other name I named is the guy we signed. Now, first and foremost, let's say it this way. Before we unveil who it is, you guys should know. It's on the title. The Cowboys worked out 4 linebackers this morning. 4 linebackers. Tanner Vallejo, Jordan Evans, Brandon Smith, who, by the way, Brandon Smith was a linebacker at LSU. Not LSU, in Penn State. Next to Micah Parsons. So that would be interesting, Brandon Smith, right? And Rashaan Evans, who is the guy I've been talking about all offseason, in the sense of, we're going to pick up a guy, a realistic guy, this would be the guy we pick up. Took longer than, I kind of forgot about him in a sense, right? We just remember him as soon as LVE went down. Rashaan Evans, now a Dallas Cowboy, officially signed. Out of those 4 guys worked out today, he was the guy that was signed. Again, with Leighton Vander Esch out with that neck injury, the Cowboys have a linebacker depth need. And actually also a special teams need
Remember,
with no C.J. Goodwin.
Down with that torn pec.
Yeah, so he's out for the year, C.J. Goodwin. So this guy would be a good replacement at linebacker and special teams depth-wise. Now, after signing Rashaan Evans to the practice squad, remember, guys, practice squad, not the 53-man roster. He has to be elevated. And again, let me explain. With Malik Jefferson he's the guy. The next elevation for Malik Jefferson, he's off the team. You guys feel me on this? So the Cowboys have to be, cautious on how they use the next elevation there. Will it be Rashaan Evans? Will he have time? At linebacker, you could kind of learn that stuff maybe a little faster. And again, Rashaan Evans was with the Falcons, but this was way after Quinn's time there. So when he was with them. So anyways, the point is, signing Rashaan Evans to the practice squad after this workout on Wednesday, he's a former first-round pick of the Tennessee Titans. Maybe we were at the draft we were at the actual draft in Dallas when he was picked. Tennessee Titans picked him. He was recently, the most recent team he was with this year, the Philadelphia Eagles practice squad. So again, practice squad from the Eagles, he was there for like 4 days. This is red flag to me. And again, I don't know how useful he's going to be for this Cowboy team as far as jumping in and playing day one. I just don't think he's that guy. He's a practice squad guy for the Eagles, got cut. So now he's a practice squad guy for us. Listen, to me, there's also a situation where we're really running out of the need for depth, and we're needing the need for starters at the linebacker, off-ball, middle linebacker spot. Well, let's look at this guy, right? So again, signing him, again, practice squad from the Eagles, the last team he was with. He was a free agent now. He was cut, and the Cowboys got him now. By the way, a little side note, LVE was the 19th pick of that 2018 draft. Mm-hmm. The 21st pick was Billy Price. He's on our practice squad, by the way. He's the center.
No. There you go.
Now a center for us. But now he's on our practice squad. And then you have the 22nd pick, first-round pick of that draft, Rashaan Evans. I mean, he was picked 3 picks after LVE by the Tennessee Titans. So the Cowboys have the 2018 NFL draft. We have the 19th pick, LVE, 21st pick, Billy Price, offensive lineman, and the 22nd pick, Rashaan Evans. So we're loading up. And again, don't forget, Trey Lance in the 2016 draft, 3rd overall pick. So again, we have a lot of high-value, high-drafted first-round picks on our roster here, most of them scattered throughout our practice squad. So, again, is this about depth now for the Cowboys, or is it about a starter? Because I don't think this guy is a starter yet. If he couldn't make it on other teams' practice squad this year, then what's the chance he's going to come in here and start for the Cowboys? I wouldn't get too excited, but I'll go through some quick information about him so we're on the same page. I do want to say one last thing. Again, with LVE out of the game, out for the next 4 to 6 weeks, we got to look at the way he was scouted, the way he was put together, and what the Cowboys are looking to fill in for that LVE spot. I think Rashaan Evans is a guy that has the ability to do those things. And, when I look at the numbers, I guess you could say, inside of what he can do, let's look at it real quick. Rashaan Evans, among linebackers, through the PFF analytics, since 2020, so we're talking about the last 3 years, his coverage grade as a linebacker, 60th percentile. Not bad for a guy in a practice squad. Coverage grade in the box, around the same area, 56th percentile. Coverage grade in the slot. And I'm surprised about Rashaan Evans being able to be a good tackler. And he's 74th percent in the slot as a linebacker in coverage. Pretty solid there for a coverage side of our linebacker core there. Now, forced incompletion percentage, meaning he's around the ball, knocking the ball out, 84th percentile of all linebackers. Again, much more of a coverage-styled guy, in my opinion. Could he even be better than LVE in coverage? Possibly.
I mean, it's not like LVE was able to do all that much in the last handful of weeks as far as coverage, but let's be honest, our defense had moments where all of it did not look good.
But LVE was having issues stopping the run a little bit. He was not in his run gap assignment as quick as he should be. Sometimes was off of it. How is he going to fare, this guy here, Rashaan Evans? And that could be the issue. His run defensive grade, 32nd percentile. That's it. Run stop percentage, 38th percentile. Not very good there. I'm just kind of surprised, even though he plays off-ball middle linebacker, he's a damn good coverage guy, not a really good run stopper. Now, when you look at his numbers last year, he did play with the Falcons last year. Listen to these numbers. He started all 18 games for the Falcons last year at the middle linebacker position. That's important, 17 games last year. At the middle line, that's what we need, a middle linebacker, right? He had 479 snaps in run defense. He had 110 solo tackles. I don't know about why his percentage was not in the higher percentile there. Maybe it was the reverse. I don't know. Maybe it is the reverse there. But he had 110 solo tackles. That was 10th in the NFL last year. So he's a tackle. He does make the plays inside there when it comes to tackling. Now, he had 43 assisted tackles. That was tied for 4th in the NFL. So, again, top 10 and top 4 when it comes to solo tackles and assisted tackles, respectively there, right? He had 1 forced fumble, and he had 46 defensive stops. That's in a season with the Falcons for the entire season. Again, no missed games for him. And he also had 80 pass rushing snaps. That's why I think maybe the 60th percentile, maybe he was worse in pass coverage. I think he's much better in run stop. And so 80 pass rushing snaps, and he's kind of a pass rusher too. He had 2 sacks last year, 11 pressures, 2 quarterback hits, 7 quarterback hurries, 1 batted ball, and a get-home rate of 3.5. So, again, 3.5, 3.5 out of every, 3.5 plays, he's getting some kind of quarterback hurry, quarterback hit, pressure, sack. So, to me, he's a I don't want to say Micah type guy, but he's a linebacker forward. He's a linebacker that attacks forward that, to me, it fits what we need in a middle linebacker. And again, I'm going to reread these numbers here. I'm pretty sure the 60th percentile in the coverage side and 56 and 74 is not that good. I'm pretty sure it's the reverse of that. I messed that up. I'm pretty sure his run defensive grade, being in the top third of the league, is pretty good. So again, guys, coverage I don't think is there, but the run stop obviously 100% there with the numbers he had last year. Somehow he's, I don't know where he's missed a step, how he's not, how he's not more needed or wanted by people, that are, other teams out there. I'm confused about that, but I guess we'll wait and see why he's been skipped over and passed over a lot. So, sorry guys, I was muted for a second there. So, now that's my breakdown of this guy. What are your thoughts, baby? Your thoughts about adding this player in here to help depth?
Like I said, I am genuinely surprised it took this type of injury for the Cowboys to say, hey, maybe we needed some depth at linebacker. But that is kind of the new style and the way they're rolling now. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah, just like I said, unfortunate that it had to come to this type of moment. I mean,
if we had addressed this even a couple of weeks ago, it would have been a little more, fluid to move him in there.
But then he would have had at least some time. It would have had, it would have been a different situation. But now we're literally scrambling in the middle of the week to figure out who the heck is going to be our linebacker. And yeah, at least we have the bye week to, cushion the blow afterwards and kind of figure things out. But that doesn't really do much for us when it comes to the Chargers game.
Yep.
And I said it before, and Quinn kind of backed me up on this. Expect Micah Parsons to kind of flex that linebacker flex.
Yeah, he's gonna move over to the linebacker a lot more than he has, I think, any time this year, and maybe even last year. What does the chat think about this move by the Cowboys from the practice squad with this guy right now? We'll see where he goes from there.
Double R said, Cowboys just looked so damn good on paper this season. For Christmas, I'm gonna ask for just one more Super Bowl in my lifetime.
We're hoping.
So, Cleveland Brown asking the question I'm sure a few of you guys are already having. What I want to know is why Evans is a free agent.
Exactly.
The Eagles got him in their practice squad for 4 days, and then he's out.
That's my red flag. This guy last year did very good as a middle linebacker. Didn't miss a game. He had 10th highest solo tackles. That's something there. 4th highest assisted tackles. He's around the ball, right? So what's the deal? Why doesn't anybody want a middle linebacker, off-ball? Does every team have a good off-ball linebacker? They don't need him? So there's something. I'm not going to put too many eggs in this Rashaan Evans basket, but I said this in the offseason. This is a guy we should bring in as a depth player at the very least. I said this 4 months ago. Check it out if you don't believe me. And I just think that, he is a good player to have as your depth at linebacker. He is that. At least last we know of him, right? But number one, why did we wait this long? Now it's going to take longer for him to get used to shit here under Dan Quinn. And what's going on with him that nobody wants him for this long? Can't be that he's asking for a lot of money. He's literally on our fucking practice squad. He's making like minimum here, beyond minimum, right? So why? There's a reason for this. He couldn't hack it with the Eagles. In 4 days, he couldn't make any other team since then. Something's up. So I'm going to leave it at that. Can he come in there and start? And Malik Jefferson can. He's going to have to. And Malik Jefferson's a fucking practice squad player. So we'll see if anything changes between now and then. I don't know. I don't know if this is the answer at linebacker is my point.
So let me roll back a little bit here.
People think it's a bigger answer than it is.
Richard Scott is saying that I heard that Evans asked to be released or something like that.
Yeah, but then, and even if he was, right? Let's assume I want to be traded. I want to be released. Okay. He didn't make it on the Eagles 53. He didn't make their practice squad. He got cut. Why has nobody else picked him up? And that's my question. Whether he want to be released or not, why is he not picked up by anyone else until the Cowboys are in desperation mode at linebacker? That's the question.
So I'm guessing maybe other teams are also waiting for that desperation point. I don't know.
There's got to be some desperate teams.
He really only had one bad game against the Cardinals.
Agree.
Watch how much we miss him when he's gone.
And I've said, we're going to miss him more than people think. I've said this in the past. I don't think he's an excellent player. I think he's a solid player in Dan Quinn's scheme. And he's respected as so in that sense. You're going to see a big downgrade here. Whoever steps in that spot, in my opinion, unless, these guys, play above and beyond expectations. And that's a lot of hoping right there. A lot of hoping.
So, let me roll back and see if anybody else had any other thoughts to share. Retro Sky saying, like I said earlier, Evans played pretty decent with the Falcons despite their record.
I agree. He had good numbers for sure. A lot of tackles, top 10. You got to at least respect that. But why isn't nobody else? Why didn't he make any other team? Why is he still, week 5 and he's still unemployed until now?
So
it's a reasoning for that.
Cactus, he said it's a miracle. Hallelujah. The only
Fell into our laps.
miracle is if we cloned Micah somehow between now and the game. Yeah. So then we don't have to choose.
Yeah, we can just go. We could have one Micah off-ball linebacker and Micah pass rusher. I wish we could do that. We can't.
So, kind of roll here. So I think we kind of touched on most of the points here, kind of sharing their thoughts on this.
I'm going to roll from Rashaan Evans, who's, again, backup situation and all that good stuff there. Actually, I got to fix one thing here, so you might have to take a comment or two still.
No,
but
you're good.
I do want to, or not. I mean, it might take me a second to do this. I want to make sure we talk about rookies for a quick minute. Now, we know Overshown, right? The Marvin Overshown, he's out for the year. I mean, he was a guy we would need right now at linebacker, right? I mean, that would be great to have a guy like him at linebacker now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Overshown can step up.
And again, context is everything, right? Like, Overshown, I'm just saying, some of these guys a few weeks ago, fine. It's, there's nothing wrong with them or whatever. But right now, with the need, it makes a lot of these guys a little bit more, exciting's the wrong word. Viable, maybe is the better word. So
very true. And again, that's what I'm trying to say is what is your thought on Overshown? Would he have stepped up? Would he have been able to step up and do what needed to be done? I mean, that's a question we'll never get answered at this moment because he's not able to show us, right?
And he got hurt way too early to kind of see what his NFL temperament was going to be like, right? Like how he kind of handled himself in the NFL and going through the NFL paces and things like that. So, but, shit happens, right?
Yeah, it did to him, unfortunately. So let's talk about the first two picks here. First, let's start with Mazi Smith. Let's talk a little Mazi here real quick. Now, Mazi Smith, first round pick of this draft. Where's Mark Hosepi? I know he's got his thoughts on this. Mazi Smith, guys, I said no production from our third round pick.
Yeah.
Because he's injured. First round pick, Mazi Smith, we get any production from him? The Cowboys have really yet to receive a first round caliber impact from this pick, which we knew. We knew this already was going to happen, but we went with need over best player available in this draft on the first round with the 26th pick. And again, Smith has yet to consistently see playing time. That's number one, which if you're going to draft the first round pick, when will he see playing time, right? We want to up that a little bit more.
Yeah, he's got to play eventually.
Yeah. Oso Digizua, Jonathan Hankins, they're the ones that received right now the majority of that workload at defensive tackle. Now, let's go back to this week, this horrible, horrible weekend where we had the Niners work us. When it came to this game here against the Niners, Mozzie Smith received his largest workload in Week 5. He took 22 defensive snaps. Mozzie Smith was not able to make a difference on that field in those 22 snaps he had. He was constantly pushed around by the Niners offensive line. As a team, of course, remember, we allowed 170 rushing yards in this game. Yep. He had his most volume of snaps so far this season, 22. And he had a big F on this one. So it's hard to, listen, we know it's hard to judge a defensive tackle solely based on his rookie season. You cannot do that. Unless he's Aaron Donald and it's like one every decade. Mozzie ain't that guy. Once every decade. Go ahead
and say he's having a rough start, though.
For sure. 5 games, forget, it's just stupid to base it on 5 games. But he has looked average at best for the Cowboys through his first 5 games. He has 1 pressure, 0 tackles for loss, 0 quarterback hits, and a 52.4 PFF grade overall. That's pretty much a big F. We passed on offensive linemen. We passed on a lot of other good players out there on defense. We went with Mozzie Smith, and we're not going to see payback from him yet. Probably late in the season, maybe next season, before we start seeing something from him, possibly. Now, I see the man, Mark Hovsepian, 94 points at that 5 on it. And I know he has something to say on all this stuff. Our rookies, we got another rookie to talk about in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
What did the man say, Mr. Mark Hovsepian?
Mr. MCF, I'd like to have you do a breakdown of our past 4 drafts. Other than some stars, everyone's gone or blows. How is Ridgeway doing? Well, there's another steal via Jerry
Not
Jones.
on our team, though. Not on our team, right? I mean, he's with the Washington Commanders, and I haven't heard much about him this season so far. So keep an eye on that, but I know he got injured at the end of the season last year with Washington.
There you go. Let me see here. Retro Scotty's saying Mozzie's going to need some kind of off-season training to really have an impact. It'll definitely be interesting to see how he progresses from year 1 to year 2. But damn. Like I said, what a rough start. I'm not going to write him off completely, the same way I'm not going to write off the whole season. But you can't deny that I am less excited now than I was before.
But Mozzie, a little bit.
Yeah, that I have more doubts now than I had before.
It's silly to judge him in 5 games, but just to give him a first kind of grade, definitely not as good as what we hoped. Even if it wasn't going to be a superstar mode yet, right? So.
So, just kind of rolling through here. By the way, guys, just in case, if I didn't mention it, take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. Let me see. Jason Red for myself saying, why is every year we cut depth players, and when we need them, we don't have them? Because they were cut and they got picked up by another team.
Devin Harper and a couple other guys, I'm talking about Jabril Cox. I don't think he was ready to roll anymore with us. But, yeah, those are the examples he's saying there. You could say Ridgeway is another guy, right, in the mix there. So, yeah, I hear you guys. I hear you. And I don't know if it's, when it comes to our drafted players, right, that we draft, is it the players aren't developed properly? Because we see some of these guys do leave, and then they start having even better seasons somewhere elsewhere. Some of these guys leave and are crap anywhere they go, right? So is this all on the scouting department, Will McClay? Is it on the coaching staff, Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones? I think it's on all of them. But I think the coaches have to do a better job of developing these drafted, research scouted players. I do trust Will McClay bringing in talent, but they're not going to just come in here and just be superstars. They got to be brought in, and then they're not all Micah Parsons. They got to come in here and they got to work hard, and the coaches got to work harder to get these guys, used to the NFL ways and for their future days, right? Like Mozzie, I believe he has a big future here, but it's not going to really start off until we get into. He's not going to be Aaron Donald, but he might be, a real solid, defensive tackle that can cause havoc in the future. But that's pretty much when you go for it, you want a guy who's going to do that, and you go first round, you got to wait a year or a year and a half or 2. So that's just what sucks about that. Mark Hovsepian dropping another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it. What did Mark have to say?
No one is saying Donald, but when he sucked versus the run and he can't make an impact, that's bad. He and the tight ends were drafted way too high. Drafted way too high. Both are Carver like that picks. So.
Well, you know what's funny about that? I do think about the fact that Will McClay, he puts these guys down on the table, and he brings them the guys that they ask for, the kind of guys they ask for, and then he gives his opinion on things based on the scouts and the coaches in the front office, and everyone has their 2 cents on these players. But in the end, I think this is the draft strategy of McClay, of the Joneses, that they kind of want to do their own kind of style of things, and sometimes you win big, sometimes you shit the bed. And I think sometimes you cannot afford to shit the bed when it comes to a higher draft pick, especially second rounders of recent years. And when we have like guys that you find, whether it's a Deron Bland or a Donovan Wilson, or I'm gonna throw in there as another guy. Oh man, who else? I just had him in my mind. Oh,
I don't know why I thought Jabril Cox.
No. Oh man, no. It's just he's a. Oh shit! I can't believe I forgot who it was. Anyways,
don't worry, you'll remember when you're laying down in bed tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. So
sorry, I had to.
So again, it just look. We've had a couple diamonds in the rough that, Biotish is the other name. Tyler Biotish, to me, 4th rounder. Again, these are guys we find that excel and are great pickups by Will McClay scouting crew. But then you got guys out there, whether it's Gallimore or Nashawn Wright or Kelvin Joseph or, Schoonmaker. Again, these are more, I think, placed out there for the Cowboys to look at. I think McCarthy makes the call more on that one. I think that you can tell which guys are more one guy or the other side, or which players. Nashawn Wright's more Dan Quinn. We know this. So, it's a group fuck up in this situation. But if the coaches want these guys, if they want these guys, I'm on the table for this player, you better get this player to work. You better get this player. Marinelli's yelling about Tristan Hill, and he shits the bed 3 years in a row. Then what is Marinelli? Why are you trusting Marinelli if he can't develop these players properly and use them the way he said he was going to use these guys? So that, and I know it's split after that, after a year or two, whatever. We didn't have Marinelli, but I'm trying to say that this is where we need Dan Quinn and Aiden Daugherty and all these guys to be able to follow through with who they're jumping on the tables for when they get drafted, whoever's the choice there. Now, that's one guy in the mix. What about the other guy? Well, Mark's big pick here, Luke Schoonmaker. Yeah, guys, Schoonmaker, number 86. There he is. He fell off the screen there for a second. Tight end, 2nd-round pick. Both guys, by the way, Mozzie and him from Michigan. Schoonmaker, the Cowboys made everybody knew that the Cowboys were interested in the tight end position. Everyone knew this. In the first round, we were thinking tight end, right? Cowboys were heavily linked to Dalton Kincaid, who we were jumped by the Bills and drafted him. According to the draft room, we weren't even interested in him. And Michael Mayer, which I thought was the better pick. In the 2nd round, we could have went up for him, but no, the Cowboys didn't go that route either. And they didn't select the tight end in the 1st round. We went with Mozzie. So we ended up, instead of going Osiris Torrance, a left guard who right now is having a pretty damn good season as a rookie with the Buffalo Bills. And by the way, I think the top 15, top 10 pass blocker right now in the NFL at guard. So, yeah. But it's early, right? So, look, the point is that we didn't select the tight end, so we got Schoonmaker in the 2nd round. In the 1st round, we didn't get a tight end. We passed on linebacker Drew Sanders, receiver Tank Dell, receiver Jalen Hyatt when it went to the Giants, and receiver Josh Downs, as well as Osiris Torrance, offensive lineman from Florida, who went to the Bills. Selecting a tight end this early in the 2nd round, this early in the draft, but in the 2nd round, it's early. So you have to have you got to have expectations for Schoonmaker to be a starter, if not right away, soon into the season. And with that injury, we know the situation there, but he didn't jump over Jake Ferguson. Ferguson has been, the starter for the first 5 games of the season. Schoonmaker has been unable to make any impact at all. He has 6 targets, 1 catch, a 1-yard catch for a touchdown, and he has 2 drops, which is the killer there. So the production from Mozzie Smith, 22 snaps against the Niners, the most Seattle year, horrible numbers. And Schoonmaker, 6 fucking targets in 5 games. Where is this value in these 1st and 2nd rounds at? And again, no fault of Overshown, but he got hurt. First 3 picks have shit the bed. Plain and simple. I mean, really, Junior Fehoko, he hasn't been active for a game. You can go this whole draft and say, what happened in this draft? So, again, currently, there's big questions in this draft when it comes to this crop of guys, which we thought were going to be solid for the most part. The Cowboys used them correctly, and I know there's injury stuff. I know but we're trusting these coaches and scouts to have picked these guys right for this team. So far, it looks like a complete failure. What do you think, baby, on the drafting of these early round picks and others that we've drafted here and deeper? But just focus on the top 3-4 rounds, top 2 days
right now,
of picks.
Heck, I mean, it's hard to talk about these draft picks without talking about some of our free agent moves, just because they kind of went hand in hand. We drafted some of these guys because of the free agent moves that we had already made, and right now, everyone across the board is disappointing, right? Like, the free agent moves we made are just not working out.
I think free agents, about the trades, too. The trades of Brandon Cooks
the
and
Cooks and
Stephon
Gilmore
Gilmore
situation I kind of include in that. And, of course, right now, like the current guys we have, just drafted, not quite working out. And, again, still early, still developing, whatever. But, man, what a disappointment. It feels like this year's draft might as well not even happened, right?
Well, we're not seeing any of these guys on the field. None of them on the field. Not anyone. I mean, shit, I'm going to put it up now. But hit that up, baby, by the way. Marco Seppian dropping that $5 holler. But I did want to also put up the draft so you can see the players we have drafted and say, wait, what? Like, where are these guys in the field? Which one of these guys have played? Tell me, which one of these guys have played 22 snaps, the most for Mozzie? Luke Schoonmaker, 6 targets and 1 catch. Overshown, injured. Fehoko, inactive. Awesome Richards, third-string tackle. Eric Scott Jr., inactive. Deuce Vaughn plays, 5 snaps a game. Jalen, and it doesn't do anything right now. Jalen Brooks, inactive. So, family, what the fuck happened to this 2023 NFL draft? What did Mark have to say?
Literally nothing happened, I guess. Marco Seppi, much love the $5 holler, saying, the kid on IR at tight end was doing great and was going to be our number 2.
John Stevens Jr.
Yeah, Ferg isn't a star, but solid, and many said that the next batch of tight ends and wide receivers, draft a tight end. And we draft a tight end. So basically, many said that the next batch of tight ends, and then we don't draft one.
And there was a great tight end draft.
A good, decent one, basically.
And that's a surprising thing. When we get a Luke Schoonmaker is our good one, which I don't think we needed to wait for a heavy, good, solid draft to go a second round with a tight end like Schoonmaker. As of right now, I'm going to be honest, it's only 5 games with all these guys. But again, going from Fehoko down, these guys haven't played at all, except for Deuce a little bit. Overshown's out, actually third round down, 90th. I mean, nothing. And the only guys we got on the field is Mozzie Smith, Luke Schoonmaker, and Deuce Vaughn. There's only 3 guys that played these 5 games right now that you see on the field, other than Awesome Richards.
Yeah.
When the game was over already.
And you can't really say you're happy or excited about any of those performances.
No, that's my point. Mozzie,
realistically,
nothing. No. Schoonmaker, worse than nothing. Deuce Vaughn, not looking like the best deal now. Out there in the field when he's getting, but at least he's on the field. Eric Scott, Jalen Brooks, Awesome Richards, Willem Fehoko, Overshown hurt. None of these guys on the field this year. We got more undrafted guys on the field, like Hunter Lipke, of course. Last year Wanye Thomas, but we got more guys that can probably say that are undrafted this year and last year than any of these guys on this rookie list. And again, even this year, T.J. Bass has had some more opportunities out there, and he's an undrafted player. So this is are we drafting for the future? What's the plan here? Right? We're all kind of on the same page, right, family? Like, what's the plan are we that good with the players we had already that these rookies can? Just sit on the bench for the whole year and be inactive or barely be played? Tell me, family, what's going on?
Well,
any other comments before we move on from this?
Seppian, he said here, and it's going to drop any second now with this $2 holler. I gave the draft a D+, C-.
That's true,
and
he did.
I was ridiculed. I was right.
You hope the coaches have a plan with these guys, but as you can see, McCarthy's plans don't seem to be working out too well when it comes to this season's play calling. And then this drafting is starting to look like he's fucking the star over.
Again, that's why I'm starting to get concerned, guys, because again, all the off-season moves we made so far, L's, right? The way that our team is playing out there.
Play calling,
L's. Play calling, L's. Execution, L's. Defense,
rookie draft, L.
Where's the W's? Where's the wins? And again,
somehow we're 3-2.
The only good thing
that sucks.
Is that this was only 1 game, and we still have a whole season left to go out there and do all sorts of good things or all sorts of bad things.
We got to rebound now, and I hate saying that. I hate saying we have the whole season, because the reality, I mean, we can have the whole season all we want. If we don't fix some fundamental issues on this team, I don't know if we can do that in time. We will get bounced in the playoffs, as I've said before. Going by this last game here, baby, I said about Trent Williams, the way he had Micah kind of stopped. Where is Dan Quinn moving him to the other side? Where is Dan Quinn having him attack from more different places than just 66% of the time against Trent Williams, who had a great game against Micah Parsons, as you can expect from him, right? How about this, baby? What were the Cowboys doing? Running back Christian McCaffrey. He faced a stacked box of a box with over 7 people, which means the defensive linemen and the linebackers. Mm-hmm. He had 8 people in there, pretty much 52.6% of the time. On his 19 carries, the Cowboys stacked the box 53% of the time. That means that we went out there to stop the run and stop Christian McCaffrey. He finished the game with a -7 rushing yards on over expected, which means he did poorly running the ball this game. And again, the Cowboys are the first team to hold him to this kind of run over expectation. So basically, analytically, we just stopped. We really took McCaffrey out the game. That's probably the only good thing our defense did this game. The Cowboys not want McCaffrey to beat them. And I think we accomplished that goal. We were trying to force Brock Purdy to beat us. And he did. Brock Purdy it wasn't McCaffrey running all over us, although they ran all over us.
Still an uncomfortable truth to face, but
and it was happened. And Purdy is the one that kind of, put the dagger in us there. He threw all 4 of his touchdowns against the Cowboys from outside of the tackle box. That is the most in a game since the next gen stats have been done for over 10 years. So again, in the last 10, 12 years, guys, Brock Purdy's the first guy to throw all 4 of his touchdowns outside of the tackles. He was outside of the pocket, which is, again, first time it's been done since the beginning of these stats. So, crazy shit going on. They really worked us. I really hope this Cowboy team learned and then evolves forward. Because if we learn and just don't fucking go anywhere, we're going to be knocked out from the playoffs if we make the playoffs. I'm just being honest, guys. Now, the other thing that happened in this game, which caused a little hubbub with Micah Parsons, was the George Kittle jersey, the shirt under his jersey about saying fuck Dallas. Well, the NFL is considering fining tight end for the Niners, George Kittle, for that T-shirt he wore because, again, it contained profane message, and it was about the Cowboys, obviously, profane message about the Cowboys, under the terms of the NFL's fining schedule. Personal messages, no matter what they are, personal messages, they carry a fine of $10,927. So I foresee the NFL probably fining George Kittle for the fuck Dallas T-shirt. Profane language, but more so a message. They banned that stuff. You get fined over $10,000 for that. So Kittle, fuck you. You get fined. Fuck Dallas, fuck you. Pay that bill. So, as we move on now to the only player that spoke today, Jayron Kearse, I want to first hear from our man Mark Hosepian. What did he say, baby, with that 5 on it?
He said, I will keep it real and be hated. All parts of this team are messed up. Quinn made bonehead calls. McCarthy's a joke. Ownership blows, and drafting has been bad.
I mean, again, I can't really argue with most of those things. Quinn making bonehead calls, I think he could have been better. But I think Quinn is probably the best thing we got here in Dallas, honestly speaking, when it comes to the coaching staff and the front office. Will McClay, I think he's very good too. I just think we have a little more lacking in the coaching spots than maybe he can even make up for. Because you know what McClay and Chris Hall do, right? Their main thing, what they do, have all rules. What do they do all the time, baby? You know what their number one thing is? They do the whole scouting, and they do that stuff and provide all that stuff for Jerry Jones and the coaches. But they are allowed to take over fully when the draft is over, and they pick the undrafteds. And haven't we had the best undrafted crew, than anybody in the NFL?
Yeah. And
that's because of Will McClay. Specifically, that's when he's allowed to do his thing by himself with his people. But when it's like Jerry Jones and the coaches, well, they pick their people. Even though he helps them work it through, right? Whether he's right or wrong, that's another story. But undrafted, we trust this guy. So drafting has kind of could be a lot more to be asked for from there. But the undrafteds, the people that run this stuff behind the scenes, the undrafteds come from them. And one for the undrafteds, we might be screwed. We have more undrafted players playing this year on that field starting than the drafted players. It seems like that, at least. Seems like it. Much love, Mark. Appreciate you. He's 100 on 100 right there. He's fully loaded under Stream Boss. And now, baby, I was going to bring up the fact that I don't know if there's any quick comments about this situation. So let me know if anybody has any quick thoughts on
Michael
this.
Seppian said, "I'll take Quinn over McCarthy any day."
Exactly. If that has to be the next step, that's the next step. He's the most respected guy at the facility. The Cowboys players and coaches, offense and defense, would follow him over McCarthy.
Let me see. Mike Aldana said, CMC shut down, but we forgot about Purdy and his other weapons. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got room in our heads for one thing at a time.
We wanted him to beat us fully. Oh, he beat us, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. That he did. Let me see. Marco Seppian, much love. He, by the way, that last $5 holler he dropped there.
Yeah.
We read that one already. Okay, good. Just making sure. Sorry, no, just want to make sure. Sorry, they're coming in so late. They're not. We're a little bit, still a little weird because I'm used to them just kind of coming through and then we got this. So
but, more about the situation.
Now, Cassie Stewart was asking, is the difference in us in San Francisco like physicality? Maybe. I have a good friend that played for OU a few years ago. He seemed to think that the difference is that we're just not as physical of a team as the 49ers are. And
while I do agree, we're definitely not as physical of a team compared to the Niners. But I also got to say, Mike McCarthy pushed this narrative, this mindset that last draft, when we got Tyler Smith, it was about glass eaters. It was about assholes. It was about people that would be physical and tough and can take a beating and keep ticking, right? What's going on? Like, the 2 years, we're stacking guys, and now we're less physical than we were with the Niners the last 2 times. That's a coaching issue, I believe, more than anything. Because these are guys who are scouted. They were scouted for these reasons, and you can't bring that out of them. You can't bring that out of them in a consistent manner in a game. Yeah, good comment there. But that's something lacking, I think, with the culture of this coaching, of the McCarthy side of the coaching staff. The defensive culture is good. They got some real, they're right now down on themselves because, well, they're playing like shit. But I think they're the kind of defense, the kind of side of the ball where they will follow Dan Quinn and they believe in him and he can fix this thing. Well, I think McCarthy, he's scrambling right now. And the problem is, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, they know it. Dak's having issues seeing the field with this scheme. Obviously a lot better in years past for Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb's getting missed now by Dak. Routes are getting, blurred. What's going on, right? So a lot of frustration on offense. Defense is more about, it's frustration about getting it right, but offense, it's frustration about figuring it out. It just feels like that. My 2 cents. So, any last comments? We're going to turn gears here to Jayron Kearse, who's really a lot of the pride and the soul and the heart of this defense in many ways, Jayron Kearse.
Yeah, no, we kind of already touched on most of different comments here that touched on the variety of spectrum.
Got it. So, yeah, we move on then to the Jayron Kearse.
Keep it rolling.
Okay. So, Jayron Kearse up next, guys. And Jayron Kearse spoke today. Who, again, the Cowboys did have a little bit of a practice, all right? And I just want to say that the practice was, it wasn't open to the media. It wasn't a practice on the field. It was more about, kind of watching film, kind of studying, So I think that's what the Cowboys worked on today, is getting to know their next opponent, and seeing what these Niners are doing to us, and then get to the next opponent. Marco Seppian with that 5 on it, another $5 holler right there. What did the man have to say as he's the first place on the board trying to go for that 3-peat, and he's dropping some knowledge right now.
Ooh, he said, imagine what old school Art Donovan of the Colts would say
he's a bunch
about
of
that
pussies.
fine for bad language. Seriously, did it hurt someone's feelings? Take some Midol.
That's the shield. That's the NFL shield, my guy. Mark, every year they constrict it more. They want to make sure it's followed better, and it's the dress code and the this, that, and the other. I hear you. I agree. You know what? If he can, I have no problem with him doing that. Honestly, I'm like, some people out there that have a problem with that fuck, that fuck Dallas. Some people were like triggered and hurt by that. I am with you, Mark. That's some bullshit. And you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure that Jayron Kearse actually, had something to say about that in his conference call. In fact, he said this, Jayron Kearse, about the Niner game and what are they going to do. What did the Cowboys do today in practice or, behind the scenes? He said, quote, flushing this game down the drain, getting in there, watching the film, see what went wrong, and then on to the next, end quote. Now, that's a good thing, But in a way, I don't want to flush it because I want them to remember what the fuck this felt like. They need to be reminded. So I don't think flushing it is a good idea there, Jayron. I like that they're watching it. They're seeing what went wrong, which was a lot. So they're going to be there for a while. I mean, that's why they need this extra day. And then go on to the next. Okay, I agree. You got to move on from it, right? But you got to learn from this shit. I hope they're learning. That's what he's saying they're doing. I hope so. Now, what about the whole situation with George Kittle's "Fuck Dallas" T-shirt? Jayron Kearse had a response to that. He was asked about the T-shirt because, a lot of Cowboy players are triggered. Micah was pissed. Oh, well, wait to make it personal for Micah Parsons. Deebo Samuel said the right thing. He goes, this was personal before the 42-10 ass kicking. And he's right. Deebo Samuel is right. Micah Parsons is living in a fairy tale land. They're not all your friends. This is a war-type situation. It's a battle. It's me or you. And you're just like, my buddy, I don't want to make it personal. Fuck that, Micah. You make it personal. I said it was personal before this game. And Deebo Samuel backed me up on that. And Micah still is not understanding why is it getting personal. We already lost. We lost this game when these players don't understand this should be personal the moment we played them 3 years ago in the playoffs because of the fucking history. That's what's missing. So, the history, that was been a personal thing, wild card round against the Niners in Dallas. That was personal to me. These players, they didn't realize that. Another loss in the playoffs, bounce in the next round in San Francisco, but not personal yet. We lose to them 42-10. Fuck Dallas. Makes it personal? Come on now. Come on. What did Jayron Kearse say about this T-shirt shit? I want to know what he said.
Yeah,
I hope he didn't back up Mike on this one.
Let's hear for yourselves. Quote, a couple of the guys told me about it, but I don't have any thoughts on it. I kind of think back to a couple years ago with the Carolina Panthers, and guys had problems with Cam Newton dancing. The only way to stop that is to keep him out of the end zone. So we let him get in the end zone, and he chose for that to be his celebration. So the only way to stop that is to keep him out of the end zone. I don't have a problem with nothing. He did. If we do our jobs and keep him, if we do our job and keep him out of the end zone, he wouldn't have been able to do it.
1,000% right. I mean, I'm not going to make a bigger deal about this, but he's right.
Just basically, talking about how to scheme properly with him now, a bit.
No, I don't think so. I think he's talking about the fact that if we want guys to stop celebrating in the end zone, then don't let them fucking score. Nothing about scheming.
I mean,
don't let them. Well, obviously you got to scheme to stop them. But it's more about if you want to stop a player from doing a dance, from doing a T-shirt, fucked up
shit.
If you want to stop, then don't let them fucking talk shit. Then don't let them fucking score in the goddamn end zone. Mm-hmm. Don't let them have a good day. I mean, what the fuck does this team not understand? I mean, as a civilian out here with all the rest of us. As a fan, we know the basics of this thing. How do the Cowboys not take it personal? How do the Cowboys, get offended by this situation and not understand that, hey, they deserve to talk shit. They fucking pounded us to the ground and talked some shit. That's what happens when you get stomped out. So at least Jayron Kearse gets it. He's not offended by it. I agree with Jayron Kearse. I don't know what you think, but
no, I mean I'm with him like 100 million, 10%. Like I said, I was not a fan of the comments that Micah had made in response to the whole F Dallas shirt drama.
Yeah, it seemed very weak and hollow.
Yeah, and I think Kearse handled it right, just because again, to him, it's not even about what they're doing. It's about we put them in a position where they had the ability to do that because we didn't do our jobs out there, right? We didn't stop them. We didn't, we basically allowed them to score on us. And
specifically Kittle is the thing. If Kittle's going to do the celebration, then Kittle has to be stopped, right? If you don't want Kittle to do that shit, then don't let him score a touchdown, which he did 3, by the way, career high for George Kittle. So, anyways, that's the T-shirt shit. Moving on from that, the Cowboys spent a lot of the day today in practice, like I said, reviewing the loss to the Niners before turning the page to the Chargers. Tomorrow we'll talk about the Chargers offense, or maybe defense. I don't know. We'll talk about the Chargers on one side of the ball versus our Dallas defense. I think it's their offense versus our defense. We'll talk about that tomorrow, of course. Today's just a first look at the Chargers, and we're starting to get into that here from this Jayron Kearse interview. But what was his, I guess, turning the page on this Niner game and heading towards the Chargers? What was his thoughts on the defense here as far as the Cowboy defense is concerned?
We're a great defense. That's what we are. If you really break it down and you put it into perspective, you watch great shooters in basketball go out there and have rough games, and that's no different than us. We had a rough one. they had our number. They beat us bad, speaking on the defensive side, and that it was. But we wasn't crowned the best defense in the league after we had that 40-0 game against the Giants. And we're not going to be crowned the worst defense in the league after what went on Sunday. So we're just going to continue to work and continue to get better. We all know who we are. So, he also said, at the end of the day, that's just one game. We're on to the next. And the Cowboys have to earn the right in the next 12 games to go and play them again in the playoffs.
When you're talking about the Niners? Mm-hmm. Correct. And
so you want that redemption? Yeah. You want to shut George Kittle up? You want to wear your own F the 49ers shirt or whatever? Well, you better buck up.
You got to get to the playoffs first. And that's what Jayron Kearse is saying. But even before that, in this part of in the first part of this thing, baby, I mean, I understand what he's saying. I know about the great defense, and we weren't crowned the best after the great performance against the Giants, and we're not crowned the worst now. I know what he's saying. It just sounds like he's okay with not being the worst, and he's okay with not being the best. I have a little more issue with this comment than the last one, about the George Kittle shirt. I'm good. I'm glad, and that's kind of something that sparks you. Is, hey, let's get him back when we get him next time. And there's got to be a next time. You got to make next time. You got to win a lot of the next games coming up. The last 12 you got going on here. If you want to make the playoffs, you want to get a chance to defeat the Niners. So after looking at all the film, looking at the defense compared to this film, Jayron Kearse, he's very confident in this defense, and so that makes you feel better. They've done it great for 2 years. I need to see it done now. And Dan Quinn, Jayron Kearse, Micah Parsons, they got to do it now. Wrapping up what he said as we head into this Charger game. Kearse said, you guys know that after losing the Niners, I think in the last 15 games they have 15 week regular season winning streak of 15 games. We know this already. But in these 15 games, every team that lost the Niners lost the next week. The following week they lost their next game.
Well, obviously, we don't want to join that disgusting statistic.
Again, the teams went 0-15 last year, 0-15 against the Niners. And Jayron Kearse spoke about, the opponents losing games a week after playing the Niners. How is that going to roll for us? Are we going to be 0-16? We're going to be the 16th team in a row? What did he say about this, Jayron Kearse?
Said, I'm pretty sure he wants to go out there and put it on us. But you've got to put on some perspective for what we just went through on Sunday.
I think you're reading the wrong thing there, baby. Up here, when it comes to the 0-15 streak, we're talking about that. So again, the losing streak that the Cowboy that you have after playing the Niners, every team has lost their following game after getting beat by the Niners by a lot or not. We got crushed. So we're expected to lose this next week game against the Chargers. What did he say about that, baby?
He said that's unfortunate for those teams to go out and lose the next week after a game against the Niners. That's unfortunate for them because we're not those other teams.
So, again, you're seeing the fact that he is stating basically these other 15 teams that lost after the Niners beat them, that's not going to be us. But, hey, you know what I'm going to say? Jayron Kearse, Dan Quinn, Micah Parsons, this defense, you got to show us this. You got to prove this to us.
Kearse himself had, obviously, look, the whole defense had a really ugly game, but maybe it's because Kearse was playing a slightly more visible and prominent role. But he, in particular, also had a pretty rough game and cost us quite a bit with the penalties and other stuff.
At least 2-3 penalties, I think. It was a really bad game for Kearse. And not his best start to his season. I think his worst out of his 3 years with us. I will say this. This game coming up against Kellen Moore and the offense of the Los Angeles Chargers. Everyone wants to know how much is Kellen Moore, you think, going to be ready to really show us that we made a mistake by cutting him, by releasing him. So I think this defense, this is the game I've marked on my calendar in the sense of our defense has to show out in this game.
Oh yeah.
Because this is an offense we've been practicing in against the entire season last year. Dan Quinn should know everything about Kellen Moore, and he don't adjust too much. They're still unbalanced over there. So this is something that Dan Quinn's got to be ready for. He cannot. There's no excuses. I'll be very disappointed in Dan Quinn if he blows this game on defense. This would be a real shock to me. This would be me losing faith in Dan Quinn to some extent. So what did Jayron Kearse have to say about this thing and this battle against Kellen Moore and the Chargers?
He said, I'm pretty sure he wants to go out there and put it on us. But you've got to put on some perspective for what we just went through on Sunday. and how we're chomping at the bit to get out there and get out to the next game on the road so we can just go out there and kind of just get this taste out of our mouths. We just went out there and had an all-time stinker for what this defense is about, and we're ready to go out there and play against somebody as well.
Boom.
So I'm pretty sure he's ready for it, and we're ready for it as well.
So Kellen Moore and his little Hello Kitties over there, the Chargers, that's going to be the game we're going to take a first look at now. Any quick comments on what we're talking about here, baby, in the chat? Couple quick little notes.
Yeah, well, first of all, shout out to you, Snug. What's up? Much
Snug
love.
in the house.
Much love. And yes, I think I mentioned it yesterday on stream, but Snug X did gift and pass the love forward from his Jersey win over to Scorpio.
Yes, that's complete and utter family-like here. Appreciate you, Snug X. Again, congrats to Scorpio for getting his jersey there. He's still deciding on what he's going to get, but hey, Jason Renfro, the winner there. Snug X, the big winner there. 9 weeks in a row as our Cash App King. Appreciate you, Brother Snug. And yes, we know why you're here. Multiple different reasons. I'm going to be honest about it. But yeah, we know what the kicker reason is there. MCF style. So again, thank you again, Snug. And go Cowboys.
Always. So, and again, Retro Scotty, take it easy. Have a great night. Now, Pioneer saying the Chargers defense is not so good. Again, we should hopefully be able to take advantage of quite a few key matchups there.
That'll be Friday's discussion. It'll be their defense versus their offense.
Team suffered quite a handful of injuries that we're still obviously trying to get our head wrapped around, and especially with the linebacker situation. Like that's the part that I'm really looking at. Like, what the heck are we going to put out there
as an off-ball linebacker? I mean, I'm looking at Malik Jefferson. Are we looking here with Rashaan Evans now that he's on our team? We shall see. We shall see. So, baby, just so you know, Cowboys will be in color rush. The same color rush we had against Tennessee last year at the end, I think week 17 was it? So we're going to have those Thanksgiving helmets, those white helmets, with the blue star, of course, and the stripes. But it's a white helmet, not a silver helmet this week, with the white jersey and the white pants, like the color rush style.
That's going to look nice.
So that's going to be icy white. It's like the Arctic white is what it's called. So get ready to see that this week, guys. The all-white uniform, white helmet, white face mask, Monday night against the Chargers. So again, like I said, same look as we had against the Tennessee Titans against these guys here. The Cowboys, I'm gonna put this here right now. When it comes to points per game, in general, the NFL this year, Cowboys are averaging still 27 points per game. That's the 8th most in the NFL. The Chargers are allowing 26 points per game on defense. That is the 9th most in the NFL. So, again, 8th most we're putting up there. We got to bounce back on a good offensive game, whether it's turnovers by the defense that puts us in scoring position, or the offense driving down the field, scoring touchdowns, maybe I don't know, maybe. That's the way we'll be able to attack this defense. Like you guys said, we're going to take a look at this a lot closer on Friday night, Fan Friday, for the defense side of things of these Chargers. We're going to see how we're going to break them down. The Cowboys are averaging fewer yards right now per rush. I'm going to throw up Tony Pollard here, but right now we're averaging fewer yards per rush than the Cowboys have had any time in the last 10 years, baby. In the last 10 years, we're averaging right now, our worst year in the last 10 years still is better than average yards per running the ball. We're not doing a good job even running the ball a little bit. So the Cowboys are averaging fewer passing yards per attempt than we had in 2020. And this was during Andy Dalton in there. And Kellen Moore coaching. This is the worst combination. And that was a real bad year. We still are, even with that year, we're having fewer passing yards per attempt now.
God damn.
And again, people say it's Dak. Is it Dak really though? Is it Dak? Is it more than that? It's what is it? I don't know. Now, one last guy I want to talk about before I talk about these little kitties here. Let me actually go to the lames. How about that? But baby, your guy, Brandon Aubrey. Now this guy might be a Pro Bowler here, guys. No joke. I mean, I think right now he is considered a Pro Bowler. Him and Jake Elliott probably with the Eagles. But Aubrey continues to shine. Listen to this. Again, a lot of people were worried, of course, that we were one of them, but the rookie kicker made all of his 14 field goal attempts. He becomes just the 7th kicker in NFL history to begin his career with making 14 straight field goals. Only the 7th guy to do this, baby. The league record, all-time record, is 18. He's 4 away from tying it. That was done in 2015 by Travis Coons. So he is 4 away from tying it. If he makes 5 more field goals, he breaks the all-time record in history to make your first, I guess you have to make your first 19 kicks as field goal kicks. Not extra points, but field goals to go into this category. So that's good news there. Listen, this team here, this Chargers team, as we see them on offense, they have, of course, Justin Herbert, running back Austin Eckler coming off an injury. Tight ends, Gerald Everett. Got to always keep an eye on him. He's played with the Rams, so he's kind of staying in the same stadium there. Gerald Everett, of Parham, but he's banged up. And then you have the receivers, Quentin Johnson, Joshua Palmer, Keenan Allen. Of course, always got to keep an eye on Keenan Allen, but they're all good players there. But again, I don't know if that firepower is as good as it used to be in years past. They lost their starting wide receiver there. I forgot his name, but he was one of the other starters there with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen in the slot. Got to watch him. We're going to talk, of course, a lot more about him tomorrow. By the way, baby, you know who's the backup wide receiver for the Chargers? Number 87, Simi Fehoko.
Oh, damn.
We'll be seeing him, possibly seeing him in this game. Their offensive line, Will Clapp, Zion Johnson, Rashaan Slater. That's a guy we could have had, right? We got Micah instead. That's going to be a battle, Micah and Rashaan Slater. And then on the other side is Jamari Sailor, who was a guy that we've talked about a lot here. I wanted him drafted. He's their starting right guard. And then they got Trey Pipkins, the third. He's their right tackle. There'll be all different areas to be able to attack, but they do have a solid offensive line. So we're going to look at them tomorrow. On Friday, we're going to talk about their defense. Their interior, they run a 3-4 defense. So nose tackle is Nick Williams. They got Sebastian Joseph Day and Austin Johnson as the edge tackles. And then Joey Bosa, of course, he's a linebacker. He's the other pass rusher. Like, he'll be moving around. He'll mainly go from their left side. So he'll be going up against a guy who needs a rebound big way, Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele and you got Terrence Steele and Joey Bosa. That's going to be an issue there. But he's been banged up, Joey Bosa. So we're going to keep an eye on him going in this upcoming week here when it comes to injury reports come out tomorrow, so to speak. And then a guy we know, I think Eric Kendricks, he played with Minnesota. We've known him a lot, and we played him a lot in years past. Pretty decent linebacker. He's a starter there. Kenneth Murray Jr., the other linebacker, along with Khalil Mack, who's another pass rusher. He'll be coming from the other side of Joey Bosa. So they can have 5 guys in that defensive front. They run 3-4, but a lot of 5-man lines there. We're going to talk about that a lot more on Friday. The secondary, cornerbacks Michael Davis, we talked about it yesterday, Asante Samuel Jr., and in the slot, the nickel cornerback, Jasir Taylor. These 3 guys are going to be keys to maybe attack through the air, maybe another weakness they have on their defense. I look at the slot situation, Jasir Taylor, as a possible target, as well as Michael Davis. I know Asante Samuel Jr., he's had a good couple of first years in the season in his career, much better than Kelvin Joseph. They were drafted. He was drafted right after Kelvin Joseph, or soon after. So a guy that I wish the Cowboys would have invested in. But he's now to me, he's their number 1 guy. So we'll see how that plays out. And they did sign Isang Bassi as a nickel cornerback last week because they had traded away J.C. Jackson, who's now with the Patriots, back with the Patriots. And then listen, guys, when it comes to punter, J.K. Scott, Cameron Dicker the kicker. That's their guy there.
That's right.
And then you got, the returners there, Darius Davis, who's their punt returner and kick returner, in case you were wondering. We'll talk more about all of this the next 2 nights here on My Cowboys Family. But let me just give you a quick overview of these Chargers, and we'll be done with this thing, guys. Extra day of help. The extra day will help the Cowboys, but what about the Chargers? They got an extra week of help. So it helps us with maybe rested, but maybe it helps them more with getting like an extra week of preparation. Also, they may be rusty, 2 weeks, so that you don't come off your break sometimes that well. At 2-2 right now, the Chargers are 2-2. They're looking for a 3rd straight win, and we're going to be facing Kellen Moore. As soon as Kellen Moore joined the Chargers, we knew that this would happen at some point this season. And they put us on ESPN, the NFL put us on Monday Night Football for this matchup here. We're going to play our old coordinator in Kellen Moore. Of course, dig a lot deeper into this offense tomorrow. But there's a lot of similarities with the Cowboy offense from years past, and in some in the good ways and some in the bad ways, right? So again, we know Kellen Moore, teammate of Dak, quarterback coach, OC, with the Cowboys now gone, and McCarthy's calling the plays in Dallas. So currently the Chargers, they rank 5th in the NFL in total offense. The Cowboys are 17th in total offense. Good news is their defense ain't that great. So we can bank on that. Now, on their offense, baby, we got to stop that running game. Austin Eckler, who's coming back from injury, right? Supposedly he's maybe ready to return. He's one of the more dynamic running backs in the NFL. He can run and he can catch. He's been out since week 1 with an ankle injury. There were some thoughts that he might make it back for the last game against the Raiders, but they held him out. Kind of like a Tyron Smith kind of deal. Now the Chargers are coming off this bye week, and he's seemingly very able to go, so that's good. They're going to give us their best shot with Austin Eckler. We got another guy we have to stop, and that's their run game. And if we don't stop that, it's going to be a long day for us.
Yep.
What about Herbert under Kellen Moore? Some people are saying, could he be MVP? I doubt it. But Herbert has been one of the more stat-filled passers in the last, not just his career, but this season really opened it up a lot more with Kellen Moore. That's part I'm not surprised about. He ranks 3rd in the league right now with a 106.3 QBR rating, which you remember, Dak had similar numbers like that as well in his career with Kellen Moore. So again, now here's the thing, he only has 1 interception thrown in 5 games, and he's thrown 7 touchdown passes. He's completing 71% of his passes as well, and the Chargers, did start off 0-2. A lot of that was some of his mistakes in there, but he has helped turn things around for the Chargers with his ability, right, as a quarterback, with 2 straight wins before heading to the bye week. Of course, they didn't play their 5th game like we did. Again, he's got these numbers in 4 games, not 5. But this is probably the hardest defense he's going to be facing this season. So we're going to see what happens when you clamp him down. That's going to be a much deeper discussion tomorrow here on My Cowboys Family. But let's flip it around real quick and go, what about our offense versus their defense, which will be talked about on Friday? Double trouble kind of situation there for the Chargers. The Chargers were without Nick Bosa in the last game against the Raiders, but again with Khalil Mack, we know him from the Bears and he's a pass rushing stud, guys. Both of these guys from each side, Khalil Mack was able to pick up the slack for what Nick Bosa couldn't do last week. I think it's Joey Bosa. I think it's Joey Bosa. I don't want to say Nick Bosa. But anyways, the point is Khalil Mack, he entered the game last week without 1 sack in the previous 3 games, and then he finished with 6 against the Raiders last week, and he became the 6th player in the NFL history to have 6+ sacks in a game. So again, guys, incredible there from the Chargers side. We gotta contain Khalil Mack. He's a game wrecker. And now Bosa's back, probably. We'll see. The last thing, the Chargers need help versus the pass coverage side of things. During the bye week, the Chargers did trade, I said, J.C. Jackson. I mentioned this a couple times already. Signed to Sang Basley, who's the depth part of the 4th guy. It's kind of like you say Igbignogany. He's kind of like that. Igbignogany. He's kind of like their Igbignogany. They're their 4th corner, but he's the slot backup there. And, in 4 games, the Chargers rank dead last. The Chargers are dead last in the NFL in passing defense. They are allowing 299.8, so 300 yards per game in passing yards per game, guys. That is horrific. So the pass defense is their big weakness, but you got to stop the pass rush.
Oh, the $2 holler. Much love, Calvin Richard. Appreciate you. You know what he had to say.
Oh, Cowboys? I don't know. It's a question mark.
Not quite, but said, what's wrong with Texas Coast? It's Texas Coast from 1997.
Yeah, it's an old, stale Texas Coast. Yeah, that's the problem.
We burnt it around the edges a bit.
Yeah, not the most updated format of what this is supposed to be.
No.
So, yeah. So again, guys, I think that's something to keep in mind. By the way, thank you, Calvin Richard. I'll update the board in a minute. Marco Seppian, 98 points. Trying to go for that 3-peat as our sponsor of the week, back to back, and in first place on the overall board. Much love to Jason Renfro. Skeptical Fan, who, by the way, is the gifting champion. No gifting leaders right now, as of this moment here on night, we're night 3 already here. So no gifters this week so far. That board is open. The king of the Cash App is the man, Snug X. Much love to him, as always. And he's got 9 in a row. Will he go for 10? Jason Renfro stands in his way currently with the lead on that side of things. So appreciate all you guys here rocking it with us. Hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know where to follow us on My Cowboys Family all over social media at My Cowboys Family. I just want to do the little bit of that part of the show now as we wrap it up now. But again, I think the main thing I'm going to take at this as we go towards this, break it down tomorrow. We're going to break down, their offense versus our defense, and then on Friday we're going to break down our defense versus our offense versus their defense. We'll be doing that, and that scared the shit out of me. Stephen White has become a member. Why? We have a gifted membership from Justin D, the place to be.
Thank you so much, Justin, first of all. Appreciate you showing the love here to the family. And Stephen White, congratulations once again. Go ahead and drop him now that you got him.
Yeah, one of the best ways to drop love and support the channel, supporting other family members that get the emojis, which, by the way, they're in there. They're fresh and so clean. The anti-charger emojis. Hopefully they'll be at 0% when we get done with them. But, yes, guys, thank you guys for gifting the membership, and Justin D on the board, on the overall board, and first place on the gifting board with the 1 on it right there. So thank you, sir. Go Cowboys. So again, I think the attack of this offense for the Chargers, for our offense versus their defense, which we'll take a lot more of a look at on Friday, passing the ball. We got to protect Dak, and we should get, again, if the scheme has to be better, an attack down the field, or we're going to be screwed again. We'll be screwed. We're going to look bad against the worst passing defense in the NFL. So we got to make sure we got our shit together for this pass defense that sucks.
I agree.
The worst in the league. They allow 300 yards passing per game. Come on now. Come on.
And again, thank you again, Justin D. And yes, here's, let me see.
Justin D in fourth.
Is it gifts or gift or gifts? Which is,
I think gifts.
I never remember. Is it gifts? Let me see. Let me try that one. I never remember which one it is for the gifted membership option thing here, so you guys can make sure you turn it on, and there it is. It was gifts.
There you go.
Thank you, my love.
And by the way, Justin D, 4th place on the overall board, just like that. And Calvin Richard in 5th, Jason in 6th, Double R in 7th. In 1st, Mark Hosepian. 2nd place in a tie, Clark Mullenhoek Kent. And lost in translation, like I said, Justin D in 4th. Much love to everybody there. Appreciate you guys as I'm placing Justin D in 1st place with the 1 gifted membership. The old school extra point. I guess just an extra point, but the old school 1920s extra point, 1 point play. Anyways, that's a wrap on my side. Just something to keep in mind as we go in this week, guys, and how we're going to see this Cowboy breakdown against, offense, our offense versus their defense, and vice versa, their offense versus our defense. I can't wait to break this down, but for now, we have to kind of come and have this come to a close for tonight, guys. So as I take all the making fun emojis on the screen here and have us back on the screen, baby, let's get the shout outs and the outros here all at once.
So first of all, guys, make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Best, easy, simple way to show the love and share the love here at MCF, of course.
Yeah, final shout outs and the couple comments I guess you can throw in there as well.
Let me see. We have Scorpio, Van the Man, Cactus G, much love, Justin D in the house. Let me see. Stephen White representing, Cassie Stewart, have a great night. Let me see. Just want to make sure I shout out everybody individually here. Asmodeus, what's up? Pioneer, hello and hi. Snug X, of course, representing.
Snug.
We have Bama Fan in the house. Van the Man. Yeah, and I think, let me see, as far as now, that's as far back as I can go. So, let me see, Thomas Garrett and Mage. Yeah, so that's as far back as I can go, at least on my side.
Well, that sounds good, baby, because we are on this side wrapping it up tonight here, my Cowboys family. So as we get out of here, tomorrow we'll talk about the Charger offense versus our Big D. We'll see how that matches up. Let's talk about the matchups, some of the pros and cons, and dive deeper into that side of things. Tomorrow, Fan Friday, we'll flip it and take a look at, our offense versus their defense, our Texas coast, burnt toast right now. So we'll talk about that on Friday, Saturday. You know how we do this thing, guys. Be the final day of the injury report and finalize some things there with some matchups to look for specifically and keys to victory. And we'll see what happens on Sunday. We might have a party stream off day kind of situation. Of course, Monday Night Football, it's on like Donkey Kong here because we faced Kellen Moore and the Chargers. I'm ready, you ready? Let's get this thing done, baby. Before we can drop out of here, tell them why we do this here every night on My Cowboys Family on YouTube. Why do we do this every night, my love?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Yes, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here, we rip that star over everything. And hey, guys, here on YouTube for 6+ years, 7 seasons plus. Can't do this without you guys' love and support here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, say it loud, say it with us. Go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Again, I don't know about this year. Let's get it sooner than later, damn it. Come on. Thank you guys for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Thank you for dropping the love from above, guys. Truly appreciate your support. Cash App, the super chats, whatever. The gifting memberships. Can't do this without you guys' support and your love. But baby, it is time to drop out, clock out, relock, reload tomorrow for another one here on MCF. Before we can drop out for the night, tell everybody what we got to do.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. That beat has now officially been dropped. Thank you, MCW. As we get ready to rock on out of here for the night, guys, hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hard as hell. And we'll see you for another one, another Cowboys chat right here tomorrow night. So, yes, we talked about it all. This upcoming little battle here with these Kellen Moore Chargers. The rookies, situations, whether it's Schoonmaker or Mozzie. No production out there right now. Micah, the defense, got to get better. Same thing with C-Lamb in the offense, although we're going to be in those uniforms right there. White helmets, the white jerseys, the white pants, the Arctic styled uniforms, the color rush with the white helmet. That's what it's going to be against the Chargers in L.A. And by the way, you see that Atlanta Falcon? Rashaan Evans, linebacker in our practice squad. We'll see how that goes for the future when it comes to our Cowboys, and if he has a role to play here, helping replace or depth for LVE. Here in MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything. Never forget the number one thing right here on this channel, right here in My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow for another one. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe. See you later. Peace out, and never ever forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.